Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is Aishman, and today we will be getting our hands dirty with GNS3. Now, last time we discussed about what GNS3 is and how exactly it works. The two parts of GNS3, the GUI and the server. Well, today I will be going quickly through the documentation that you all should follow. And then we'll just create a quick topology on GNS3 and just execute it to understand that, we can actually faithfully recreate networks over here and we can attach virtual machines and all to it. And then we could actually use this as a tool for security, learning and testing and so on. So first things first, as you can see on the screen right now, this is the GNS3 documentation. The website is docs.gns3.com. This is the holy grail for everything related to GNS3. In fact, this is where I got all of my information from. Right. You can click on get started. You'll get everything out here. Right. Everything from what is GNS3, and how it's better from its competitors, so on and so forth. We'll quickly go through it, right? And when you need to install GNS3, I would recommend you go to the documentation and just check how you could install it for, whatever you're running. Most of you are probably going to be running Ubuntu Linux or Windows or Mac OS. Well, they will tell you how you could do it. They will tell you the setup wizard and everything. And in case you're running some other flavor of Linux, well, don't be afraid. Just search your flavor of Linux, how to install GNS3. I'm pretty sure there would be some solution out there. For Fedora Linux, what I'm running, right, it's kind of straightforward. I just have to sudo DNS install, what was the package? DNS3, GUI, DNS3. So support the component, which is the GUI and the server. I have to install it separately. If you're on Arch Linux, you might be using AUR for this. If you're on some other thing, right? I'm pretty sure there will be a solution out there for you. All right. So you can go on ahead with the installation. And let's now focus on the actual GUI. So as we discussed before, GNS3 is consisting of two parts, the front end and the back end. And right now, you all can see is the front end GUI. Let's just quickly go over what all features we can see over here. So I'll just zoom in a bit. OBS as my recording software, so I'll just modify it in OBS directly. Okay, yep, that's zoomed in enough. Yep, okay, perfect. So there are two toolbars you can see, one on the top and on the left. The one on the top are all your options to start the topology, stop it, pause it, so on and so forth, refresh, open a new project, or create a new project, so on. And on your left toolbar or sidebar, you actually have all of your devices. If you have used Packet Tracer, I'm pretty sure they are over here at the bottom, right? Right over here, where you can instead see the Cisco, the GNS3 management console. But over here, we have it on the left. So you have routers, switches, end devices. Then you have your security devices. You have all the devices together. And finally, you have the option to add a link, right? Connect two different devices together. Now, if you look at the security devices, you will see that it's empty. Well, in fact, for all of you out there who are installing it for the first time, you might also see that your routers are also empty. Well, this is because GNS3 actually requires you to install the binary or the image of the particular device you want to emulate, right? So over here, I have the Cisco devices, but I don't have any security device because I don't use any firewall image as such. If I do want to use a firewall, I would be using OpenSense, and I would route that into GNS3 by running OpenSense as a virtual machine, right? You can see over here, we have all the devices. Over here, you can see I have this. This is a Kali Linux virtual machine, which is running on VirtualBox on my local machine, and I imported it into GNS3. How you could do that is basically go to Edit, and then you'll see this window open. Here on the left, you can see there is all of the different options, general server, GNS3 VMs, and so forth. Just navigate to whatever VM you're using, right? So this is VPC node, this is Dyna IMPS. So I have a router from Dyna IMPS over here. I have none of the IOU devices and QEMU VMs. So one of my Cisco router images is actually a QEMU VM and VirtualBox VM. So you can see the two VirtualBox virtual machines are attached over here. And then similarly, you could do VMware VMs or Docker containers. For all of those out there who don't know, QEMU is actually running KVM, if I'm correct, right? So if you have KVM VMs, I think you'll also be adding into QEMU itself, right? Because the module it's using, the kernel module, that is KVM, KVM underscore Intel on my Fedora Linux, right? So that way you could enter any VM. Then on the right, you could see there is this top box in the topology summary. We'll quickly see how that works. And then finally, the server summary. We had discussed before that GNS3 can be run in three ways. One is running it locally, one as a virtual machine, and one remotely, right? So currently, the only server I've attached is my local server or my local machine. So it's showing Fedora, which is what is the name of the operating system I'm running. In case you're connected to some remote servers, it might show you all the remote servers that you're running. And similarly, it's the same with virtual machines. If you have multiple GNS3 machines running, then you can see multiple server summary. All right, so that's all for the front-end UI. Now let's go a bit more into a small topology, right? Which would just be an Ethernet switch and two VPs. Okay, so I'll quickly go to the switch tab. I'll add an Ethernet switch over here. I'll go to the end devices tab and I'll select on VPC1, VPC2. Okay, now let's just zoom on with this area, right? Look. Oh God, perfect. So when I want to connect these two devices, what I'll quickly do is I'll hover over to the Ethernet link location over here. And then I will click on PC1. I got the option of Ethernet 0. I will link it to Ethernet 0 switch 1, right? So if you've used Cisco Packet Tracer, it's pretty much the same, right? Similarly, PC2, click on it, Ethernet 0. Over here, click on this, Ethernet 1. Done. Well, your two PCs are now connected to the switch. And now, in order to actually start this topology, what you will do is click on this green button at the top, the green triangle, the play button. Right, you will get this confirmation that you want to start all the devices. I will say yes. The links have turned green. It is what we required. And now, if you see on the top right, we had the topology summary. You can now see PC1 and PC2. Now, PC1 and PC2 are showing telnet localhost colon 5001. Now, this localhost colon 5001 is actually a socket address. You know, the IP plus the socket gives you the socket address. This is what is there. Mine is localhost because my server is running locally on my machine. In case I was currently connected to a remote server, what I would see is the IP address of the remote server colon the port, right? And now you can see that the service telnet is also listed. That means that I can actually telnet into this PC1 and PC2. However, I cannot do the same with switch 1. My current configuration does not allow my switch to run any kind of terminal, So there's no terminal, there's no console. So there's no need for a telnet, right? So no issues with that. Let's now quickly head over to the telnet console of PC1 and PC2. So we can actually add the IP address and send packets from either of them, right? Okay. So what I'll do is I'll quickly click on one of these PCs. First, I'll ensure that my Ethernet option is right. Okay. I'll double click on PC1. I'll just wait for a minute and boom. Okay, so my terminal was opened, no issues. So yeah, now we have the telnet console of P1. Now this is a VPC, right? A virtual PC. This isn't going to emulate an entire PC, that it's just going to emulate some certain features that you can use, right? So don't expect hosting large programs on it, right? But what you could do is like assign it IP addresses and actually find these devices as nodes in case you run an nmap against this entire network, right? These machines will actually come up as nodes, right? And you could click on the or you could type in the question mark to see all of the different options you have. And these are the only options you have, right? So I don't think so that it would be possible for you to like run an entire web page or like a Python server on this VPC. If somebody has done it out there, please do tell me. Please do drop in a comment or a link to any kind of material which allows us to do that, any information regarding that. But in the meantime, as far as I know, there's no real way to do this. So what we'll do for our current testing, right, is just assign it an IP, right? I just do it 1, 2, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 0. So this is our class C IP address. Now, similar to PC1, what I'll also do is I'll assign 10.0.0.2 to PC2 frame IP 10.0.0.2 to 25.2.5.255.0. Enter. And that's done. Let's just quickly ping right 10.0.0.1. Ping it. And okay, as you can see, our packet is successfully pulled to 10.0.1. That means that both the machines have an IP address, both are connected via the Ethernet cable, via the switch, right? And we have emulated a very simple example of topology, right? This is something that you probably do in high school when you're in your computer lab and you just want to like connect two computers together. Right. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll understand how we could use Wireshark along with GNS3. We could actually read the packets and everything going from one page to the other. And after that, we will emulate a proper small office network where we'll also attach a Kali virtual machine to that network and run certain network security tools, namely Nmap, to scan the entire network and show that we can actually faithfully emulate a network and use GNS3 as a tool to learn and to test different security practices. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any queries, do drop it in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them. In case I can't answer them, I'm pretty sure there are multiple other people out there who will see and may love to help you, right? In the meantime, keep hacking, keep learning, but do everything ethically. Bye.